So, welcome everyone to the show moment of the Immersive Experience Challenge that we held here at POST, our minor Embrace Tech. First, I would like to claim a disclaimer. So this meeting will be recording because we would really like to also forward this to the people that were not able to see and be a part of these presentations. So if I have all of your consents, it is already recorded, but I hope you're all okay with that.
Okay, cool. Welcome everyone. Good afternoon and welcome to the Immersive Experience Challenge show moment. Today we will be looking at the projects our students, our online students, have been working on. Today is day one of the show moment, and tomorrow the offline students will have their moment of presenting their projects. All of you, or the students at least, have received a schedule in what order the groups will be presenting. And please keep in mind that you have 10 minutes total for both presenting as asking and answering questions. So make sure you are set and ready to go when you are up. We are missing some students in this call, so please be sure that all of your students of your group are in this call, so invite them when they are not. For now, we would like to introduce our special guest, Linda, from the Lectoraat van Diversiteit. And she will be opening the show moment today. So, Linda, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you. I'm very excited to be the special guest because this is a very important moment for our lectorate, and tomorrow it is also an important moment because we have asked you to do this assignment. And it is a question that comes from our research, and that is about diversity, inclusion, and what educational professionals need to adapt more to diversity in their student groups. And yeah, all over the globe, there is educational inequity. And there are many concerns about that. And in most countries, these achievement gaps between the people with the lowest incomes and the people with the highest incomes are rising. And in the Netherlands, yeah, this is a point of serious concern. And educational inspectorate, since 2016, each year there's a lot of attention for the educational inequity in all educational sectors, settings, and all educational levels in the Netherlands. And we see that things are happening, people become conscious, and that's exactly what we aim for. And within Fontys University of Applied Sciences, there's also a lot of attention for inclusive education, and our lectorate has the goal to improve the inclusive and diversity-sensitive education in Fontys University of Applied Sciences. And this is where the idea was born to use immersive experiences to gain awareness about inequity and yeah, stereotypical images and treatment of groups of students, and we want to do something about it. And it is an important topic in the strategic plan to 2025. And much of the feeling of inclusion depends on the sense of belonging. And for the sense of belonging, you need relationships with your fellow students, but also with the teachers. And in these relationships, there's yeah, much unconscious bias and also beliefs, attitudes that you are not conscious of that play an important role in the interactions. And what we want to do is to start professional developments and to improve educational programs. And we believe that the first step is to become aware of the problems and to empathize with them, to really feel them. So the question was, can you make or build, develop immersive experiences that we can, yeah, where we can invite teams, educational teams within Fontys, but also without Fontys, to join and to experience, yeah, the stereotypical views and other yeah, experiences that are all connected with unconscious bias. And I heard very lovely ideas and developments in your group. So I'm really excited that we can now finally see and hear more about it. So, well, let's start.
Great. So thanks for that lovely speech or opening words. So let's indeed start the presentations. And first up is Black Panther. So if you can share your screen and start your presentation, the floor is yours.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody.
Hi.
I'm just going to share my screen, so bear with me for a second. Okay, so can everybody see the PowerPoint?
Yes, we can see the PowerPoint.
Okay, perfect. So welcome to the first group to present. Okay, wait, what's happening?
Click into it again, press play. I think
Okay,
that's
sorry.
good.
Okay, so we're the Black Panthers, and welcome to our presentation. So what we wanted to focus on for this immersive challenge was to focus on, it's quite a taboo kind of topic, and there's a lot of stigma around this in today.
Is it only us? Or is the... Huh.
No, it's not only you.
Okay. Okay, so let's see for a second if they are coming back or not. If not, I would already say the purple turtles to get ready in case this technical problem continues.
Okay, yeah, I mean, like we can go next, the purple turtle theme.
Yes, I would say go ahead, and then we'll continue with Oyson's as and the last one.
All right.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, you can see it.
Okay.
All right, so hello everyone. We are Team Purple Turtle, and we are going to show you an immersive experience about social anxiety. We chose this topic because a lot of students suffer from it, but it's like widely misunderstood, we feel like. Many people don't realize that it's like an actual mental illness and confuse it with being just nervous or shy. But it can also cause like several physical symptoms. We wanted to help people to understand that social anxiety is an actual mental illness and get like a better feeling of what struggles it can bring. So if we go to the next slide, we did research first about social anxiety, and after that we did like an interview with two experts who actually suffer from social anxiety. And in the last step, we tested our prototype with our experts. And through conducting research and interviewing our experts, we got a better understanding of the feelings and thoughts and their severity. Someone with social anxiety can become like physically ill in triggering situations. Situations that might seem stress-free, like crossing a road, can be triggering, as someone with social anxiety is like constantly aware of everyone around them and how they are perceived by others. And after testing the prototype with the experts, we got like a good feedback. So we have concluded that we created a very accurate representation of their thoughts and feelings during such situations. And in the next step, we are going to guide you through our immersive VR experience.
You're muted.
Oh yeah, mirror.
Yes, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
So, I will just go to the... first, I want to say that we used the A-frame tool, which was completely new to all of us, and we added audio and imagery that we thought would best represent the thoughts and feelings of a person with social anxiety. So here we have 4 different C's. And the scenario is you have social anxiety and you are doing an important presentation which will count towards your final grade today. So for every scene in the white box, we have the description. You just woke up and are thinking about the presentation. And here on our white bubble, we have the thoughts of the person. These thoughts we got word by word from our 2 experts, and it says, can I just continue sleeping and miss the presentation? I wish I could. What, I feel more physically ill throughout the day. My heart is racing. Am I having a heart attack? How will I survive this day? Which is completely common for a person who struggles with social anxiety. And here, oh sorry, and here we have our symptoms, which are, I'm feeling anxious, tired, physically ill. I can get queasy and even throw up. My heart is racing. So after our bedroom scene, we move to scene 2, which is being outside, walking to school, crossing the roads. There are many cars, I mean, sorry. Here is our thought bubble. It was really new for many of us to see how aware a person becomes outside by things such as crossing the street and cars passing by. You feel like everyone is watching you, and you become very aware of how you walk, feel like, and yes. When we move to scene 3, we are in our classroom and we are getting ready to present as someone before us has already finished, and we have to set up our work. The thoughts that cross our mind are, I don't want the attention, I feel like I can't walk, I don't want anyone to look at me, and we just want this day to end at that moment. We are feeling nervous, we want to go to the bathroom, and at the same time we feel so thirsty. Now, on our last scene, the imagery here might not be very representative, but we are presenting. It's just really hard to find royalty-free images. Um, our thought bubble is it too late to run? This is not going to end well. And are people noticing my heart racing? And we just cloud our minds is clouded by such negative thoughts. We are feeling panicked, nervous, numb, tired, and just feeling like you messed up and you're done the worst. So yeah, this is our immersive experience. Thank you for your time, and do you have any questions that we could answer?
Well, I first want to give some compliments. I really like it because you really express the feelings of this person very well. And I think everybody can imagine how this student is feeling. And I am a lecturer also, and I would think, how can I help this student feeling more comfortable? And that's exactly the questions that we want to let them ask themselves. So it's really nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to compliment you too. I'm Petra from OSO, also in the lecture organization of Linda. And I really enjoyed your presentation because in colors and in the way you performed, you can feel and experience what the person feel like when you have the black puppets with the arms behind the head and thinking, while you see the environment of that person, and that's that's what really attracted me in your presentation. So thank you.
Thank you.
So may I ask, how did you come to that idea to make the person to let the person be in I don't know the words, the view, the beeld. Hoe zeg ik dat, jongens?
The picture in the frame?
Yeah, the picture in the frame of the person.
Well, I think. Yeah, no,
go. Okay. I think it was just a spur of the moment. We just decided that this imagery can just put you in that feeling best, if that makes sense, because these thoughts sometimes feel like they're suffocating you, and we thought that this imagery would best represent it.
Yeah, and I also feel like this was like the easiest way to give a feeling of how, like, what they're thinking, because like you can only like read or like hear voices. So like if you read this, like I thought it's like the easiest way to get a better understanding of how they feel.
And I'm also wondering, what technical challenges did you meet in this project? And which one are we going to meet when we are going to use this?
For all of us, it was completely new to work with such tool to create a VR immersive experience. So at first it was kind of slow just to getting used to it. And 3 people in our team had familiarity with coding because we are software engineering students, but the other 2, it was completely new to them, so they wanted to catch up to that. So yeah.
And is it for us to use on our mobile phones, or what do you have in mind in the ideal situation?
Yes, you can use it on your mobile phones and with a VR headset as well.
Yeah, we also have like a QR code that you can just like enter the immersive experience.
Thank you.
If there is no other questions, I would like to first remind that all of these experiences will be also available to be experienced tomorrow during the offline, but also we will be sharing a PDF where you can also click to the link and experience it for yourself, which will then be also have a feedback form underneath that PDF. So it will be really also nice if you could give your thoughts on each projects that you experience. So now back to Black Panthers. If you guys are still here, of course. Okay, I see that they're, I think they got off again. So let's make sure that they're the last ones to present, because we have a tight schedule and everyone has, I bet, also places to be. So Gandalf the Blue, could you please present?
Hello everyone. Let me share my screen. So our group prepared the presentation for our chosen topic about autism, and we basically there was like really many topics to choose, so we kind of jumped into it and generated some ideas. So we had some initial ideas. We thought that maybe it's really hard to communicate with people for people who have autism, and we wanted to basically have 2 people put glasses and some headphones for some audio, and then the start basically like what they see a bit. We basically wanted to change a lot how the faces look. And then we had scheduled the meeting with the expert just to make sure if we are on the right direction. So we got some nice feedback, and it changed our idea completely, because basically it wasn't a good idea to do something with the faces, because it's a bit debatable. Like some people might find hard to read the body language and the face expressions, but some not really. So it wasn't really that important. Also, there was a lot of other things that we could focus on, and it was interesting to hear that we could actually have emphasis on how we put all different kind of things in the buildings, like let's say even in Fontes, so that actually our project could even kind of have like a solution, some actionable steps for some maybe Fontes administration or something like that, to actually change how the building looks like, what kind of signs are there, something like that. And then basically we wanted to do the video, so we basically we didn't really think like how to involve the user like a lot. So what we got from the expert also, that it was really good idea to ask people to do something, maybe to answer some questions. So we then changed our idea, and we came up with the idea to have like a casual day of Fonte student that experience autism. And from the idea to use like glasses, augmented reality glasses actually, we went to 360 VR video, because we thought it's still gonna be interactive and immersive, and it was also a bit more doable for us to do. So the main theme was to strongly enhance visuals and audio to make the whole experience very disturbing and confusing, and to have some kind of task for users. Maybe if they notice certain things, like ask if, for example, they remember what the teacher was saying, or if they saw some strange objects. So we can show you after this presentation a short demo, but basically we don't really treat the project fully finished. We still have some further ideas that we would like to implement, or it would just like thoughts for the future. And one of them is to hide some ridiculous objects and have like really distracted visual representation of the whole environment, and then just ask people if they notice these crazy objects. And basically this would make a point on the teaching environment, because let's say when teachers teach students, it's like really easy, first of all, just to organize what's in front of you, but then maybe you can leave out some background details. And for normal people, it's totally fine, but for people with autism, it can be really distracting. So this could be a nice point for the future, to prove this point, to make these changes on the video. And now we can show you some parts of the video. Maybe someone from my group can show it.
Yeah, Matthias will do it in a second.
I quickly share my screen. Wait a second.
So just to make a little add-on, because I think the video just fully gives you an experience if you watch the whole 5 minutes, which we don't have time for now. But what we added mainly in were those, even so it might not sound like a lot, but we added all the audio effects, every noises almost in the background, we edited in the video. We also edited in like those different exposure levels, which we had as well. So overall, we wanted to give someone who doesn't have this illness the experience of actually experiencing it. And so if you watch the whole video, you're also going to see how that changes, how we actually really worked also with audio, with different focus on audio, and try to give the user who's actually watching the video a little bit of the experience who someone has with this illness. So yeah, I hope you like the presentation. Thank you so much for my team to work so well together.
If you have any questions, just go for it.
Yeah, well, I'd like to react on your presentation because I don't have the diagnosis of autism, but in this 1 minute you got me crazy. So I think you did a very good job. And I think, wow, there are so many noises, and I'm a bit sensitive of noises, but not that much. But I can imagine now for only 1 minute, or it was less than 1 minute, it lasted like for an hour. So I think there's a lot to talk about when people experience these 5 full minutes. Even if you're less sensitive of noises, then it must be horrible. So I think it's very, yeah, well, it makes a good impression, a bad impression, actually. Yeah.
If I may to add, what struck me was that I hear all kind of noises that I produce also, so with the pen and with the paper, and I don't realize that I do that. So it made me suddenly aware of how disturbing these noises can be. And the pen picking, that's what I do very often. And I know that's, I realized, but then I heard it with an extra noise. So it was very nice to realize what we do when you're not aware of it. So thank you very much for this experience.
Thank you for the feedback.
Okay, thank you so much for the presentation, guys. It was really cool to see. The Black Panthers would like to go now because of the tight schedule they have. Oisin, the floor is yours. I hope this time your computer is nice to you.
Yeah, third time's the charm. Huh?
Yes, third time's the charm.
So too.
Yeah, we're having a lot of technical difficulties right now.
Okay.
Where's that one?
Okay, so we switched to Rosie's laptop. Can you hear us from here? Okay.
Sorry about this, our Wi-Fi is extremely slow. Okay, can everyone see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, nice. We'll just show ourselves first. Okay, so as we have already introduced ourselves, we're the Black Panthers. So what we wanted to focus on for our immersive challenge was quite a touchy subject. I think I've already introduced this. I don't know when we cut off, but it's related to a subject that has a lot of stigma around it. It's related to hallucinogens and the knowledge that teachers have of students who take hallucinogenic drugs in both high school and university. And we also wanted to make it immersive. So how can teachers pick up on the signs that students are under the influence of drugs or abusing drugs? Our end product is a poster, which leads the users to some YouTube videos, and there's QR codes on our poster, and these videos show some interactive experiences, so feeling how the students would feel if they were under the influence of these drugs. So why we wanted to focus on this was we feel like it's not really discussed enough amongst teachers and students. The main drugs that are used would be mushrooms, LSD, and MDMA, and there's increasing numbers of students using these, and young people, and it's having a huge effect on their physical health, mental health, and things like this. So that's why we wanted to focus on it. The interactive videos include some how you feel if on a good trip or a bad trip. There's also some educational documents, and it is an experience to feel some sensory distortions, visual disturbances, and also physiological changes that can affect the student's learning behavior, and how teachers can recognize this. So the experiences we wanted to achieve was, as I said, how the teachers can pick up on the learning disturbances, and how they can play a role in this. So what can they do to benefit the young people? And also, for example, if they hear students talking about these drugs, and they recognize, maybe they hear some different names that aren't very common. So there's like street names for drugs, or names that young people nowadays would call drugs that teachers aren't used to hearing. And we really wanted to make it immersive, so that we put the teachers in the students' shoes, and so they can experience exactly what the student might be feeling during class. So they might be looking around the classroom and see it. They have no clue what's going on with these students, but there could be, for example, 5, even 10 students currently on a trip.
Okay, so what insights did we gain? So what did we want to find out? So basically, the first step that we took was we made a questionnaire. So this is specifically for the teachers. So we sent it out to all of our Pulse teachers, and also some teachers with our own degree. And we got about 20 responses, which we thought was pretty good. And we just wanted to find out the teachers' knowledge about the topic. If they think it's an important topic for the teachers to know. Do they know about possible long-term effects that these hallucinogenic drugs have on young people, old people's minds? Have they ever come into contact with students using hallucinogenic drugs? And these were just some of the questions that we wanted to figure out to pretty much find out what the teachers' thoughts and perceptions of was this. And we got really good response, and we got great feedback. We didn't speak to a specific expert on this this topic particularly, because we find that it's quite a touchy subject, and a lot of people don't actually want to openly talk about their own experiences. So what we did was we went to the internet. There's so much information on the internet about these hallucinogenic drugs, and people have a lot of experience taking these, and there's so many documentaries, YouTube videos, articles, everything that we could find. So we had an abundance of information to go through to figure out what actually is this. So one of the best ones we found was this documentary on Netflix called Have a Good Trip. It's a lot of famous people that we know talking about their own experiences, like what happened to them, what happened to their mind, what did this specific chemical, psilocybin, have on their minds. And we have Sting in this, Ben Stiller, A$AP Rocky, Sarah Silverman, everyone talking about their own personal experiences with psychedelic drugs. So we wanted to get a background knowledge of what exactly it was before we delved into how teachers can pick up on the signs of students maybe abusing or using these particular drugs. Okay, so some of the important steps that we took into coming coming up with our prototype. So as I said, the first one was the questionnaire. It gave us information that we needed, and also from the teacher's perspective, and also their willingness to learn more about the topic was excellent. We also had brainstorming sessions with our group and also with one of our instructors, Gert. This helped us with like team effectiveness and how to structure the work going forward. It was really beneficial, and we needed the extra motivation as a team to kind of set achievable and attainable goals and in the time frame to do our research and get everything done. We also did self-research and interactive videos. So basically we went, like I said, we went to YouTube. We searched everything, every topic we could find on how these chemicals work on the brain, what effects do they have on young people, what effects do they have on old people, the long-term lasting effects, the short-term effects, partial benefits, and also downfalls of these drugs. So watching YouTube videos was excellent. Then we also read some articles and some documentation that the teacher sent us was actually really helpful on understanding more about this topic and what went into it. The prototype, so this is our final product. This is our poster. Our poster that has some info about what we've discussed already, like previously on hallucinogenic drugs. We also got feedback on our first draft of our poster from the design team, and we tweaked a few things to make it more interactive. As you can see on the bottom of the poster, you have those QR codes that lead you to different immersive experiences, like such as the good trip, the bad trip. You have some visual distortions there that what you would actually, maybe not everyone, because it's different for everyone, but maybe what you would feel if you took these hallucinogenic drugs. So maybe it's a good insight for the teachers to watch this, because perhaps they don't understand maybe what these students are going through when they're experiencing this or maybe abusing these drugs, and it's really good for them to see the actual effects. Yeah, so these QR codes are there to give you an immersive experience into hallucinogenic drugs, and also a lot more information. And yeah, that's the end of our presentation. Does anyone have any questions?
I will take the silence as either no questions, but there were also 2 comments on the chat. I don't know if you were able to see them during your presentation as well. No. But I think it's an interesting topic also from the teacher side or the academic side to be more aware on it and actually break a bit the stigma or the biases or the opinion, and actually try to see what it is and then actually have an opinion. So I think it was a great presentation as well.
Can I ask something?
Of course.
Is there, do you have any idea how many students use these drugs?
Yeah, we do have a statistic actually. I think it was somewhere in the poster, I think. I think it's... Sorry, just a second. Go back to the poster. So yeah, in one of the studies done, the prevalence of US high school students using hallucinogenic drugs was 7.2% in 2017, and this has been increasing ever since. So I'm not sure what it is now in 2021, but yeah, 7.2% in...
It's quite a lot, especially in 2017.
And that was only high school, so like up until, I guess, like the age, what, 12 to 17, 18?
Yeah.
I'm curious what the numbers are within the Fontes University of Applied Sciences, but maybe we can find out. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to find out because we're not sure how many people will answer very honestly, you know, because it's quite a taboo topic or kind of a touchy subject sometimes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question about this topic? What is your expectation that will be the reaction of lecturers in this topic? I think it's very interesting, but I'm just wondering what your ideas are about it.
So what is our expectation of how we think that lecturers will react to this?
Yeah.
So the only thing we want them to react is maybe to become more aware and maybe become more open-minded to the fact that there is students out there using these drugs, especially even in their own classrooms, and perhaps not to ignore them and maybe to research a little bit more and pick up on the signs and maybe become more open to realizing that these people sometimes need help more than judgment, you know?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I'm really wondering what opinions are there about this. And you say open-minded, so what should they do? Yeah, and I say they. I'm a lecturer as well, so what should I do when I? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was an interesting discussion actually, because when we sent out the questionnaire to the teachers at Post, we got, I think, roughly 20 responses, and there was a huge variation of things. Like some of the teachers, and obviously mentioned names, but we did have, some of them stayed anonymous, so we didn't know who was talking about what their experiences were. But we also had a question, it was like, do you think teachers should be more aware of this? And for example, we got one answer was like, no, it's not a teacher's problem or something if a student's taking drugs. And we had some other ones where they're like, yeah, I think it's really important for us to know what's going on with these students and like how we can help and what we can do about it. So no, it was interesting to see all the different views that everybody had.
Yeah. Yeah, very interesting. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for all the questions and all the lovely discussion that started, but we would like to continue with the group Brown Yeti. If you can present, please. You're muted, by the way.
Sorry, muted.
Oh, no.
Oh, sorry. Oh. All right. Welcome, everybody, to our presentation about Alzheimer's. So obviously, we chose the topic of Alzheimer's, and we chose this topic due to the frequent cases of the illness actually in real life. And we thought there was a lot of opportunity to showcase what somebody with Alzheimer's is actually going through and take away some of the prejudices. So for this, we actually did a lot of research, and mainly in the form of a literature study and expert interviews. We actually spoke to about 5 experts on this topic, either people that know a lot about Alzheimer's themselves or work with people with Alzheimer's. So we gathered a lot of info about prejudices on people with Alzheimer's and how it compares to real life examples. And from this, we gathered the following insights. People often don't understand what people with Alzheimer's actually go through. So it's often thought that people with Alzheimer's just forget things. And even though this is one of the stages of Alzheimer's, there's actually a lot more to that than just that. So what we gather from our experts is that whenever you give a task to somebody with Alzheimer's and give them an object, for example, like a cup maybe, like say you give them a cup to make coffee, they don't know what to do with that cup and they actually get confused. And then what we also gathered from it is that to actually get empathy, is something that we want to create, we actually have to embody the people into the person with Alzheimer's. So you actually have to feel like you are that person with Alzheimer's to actually take in the info. So that's also what we want to achieve with our experience is embodiment. We want to make you feel like you're the person with Alzheimer's. We want to create some confusion, so we want to make it so you don't know what to do with the items, just like somebody with Alzheimer's would. And lastly, we want to create empathy, so we want to make you feel something for somebody with Alzheimer's. So in the end, we created an immersive experience web game where you are embodied into somebody with Alzheimer's and where you have to complete tasks, but you have to find the right objects to actually do so. So right now we'll go into the prototype. Evelyn. If my yeah.
So yeah, for the prototype, we have simple tasks. So this first task is try to turn on the TV. And what you most of the time want to do is search for the control. So where would the control be? Well, in front of the TV. So we pick it up and have it in our hands, point it at the TV. And the person who has Alzheimer feels like, okay, this is not how I turn on the TV, because they don't really know what the remote control is. So we need to search for another item. So maybe the cup will turn on the TV and it will not, maybe the phone, and so on and so on. So there are a lot of items in this room which the person can click on and turn to the TV. Oh, sorry, this is a disturbing image. And when you find the right item, it's not the item that you would look for if you have Alzheimer's. So it's not that normal for you. So we will try the phone now, and the phone will turn on the TV. So now we need to go to another room, try that out. So we go to the kitchen. And we need to make some coffee because we saw a commercial of coffee on the TV. And also here, if you try to make coffee with products you don't know how to use, it will say you don't have the right objects to make coffee. So maybe open the fridge, use some milk, you don't know. In the fridge, there are some items that don't belong there because that's also what Alzheimer is like. And eventually you get the right item to make coffee that is not that normal for you. And so on and so on. And we need to go to the bathroom, I'm sorry. And try and find your toothbrush. You see here a toothbrush laying on the table, but that's not that obvious. That's too obvious, so that's not your toothbrush. You try and find everything, and you get frustrated. Well, why isn't this working? Why isn't this working? In this room, you almost had everything, and nothing is working, and eventually you find that one object that you can use. And lastly, in the bedroom, people with Alzheimer don't really know what to do with their beds. So when you need to go to sleep, yeah, you can say to someone, go to sleep, but they don't know how they need to sleep and where they need to sleep. So the bed is not an option. Maybe the closets, it's not. And they're really frustrating because, yeah, where can I sleep? Where can I sleep? And in the end, you'll find where you need. So that is our prototype of someone with Alzheimer's.
Yeah, thank you, because I was almost into it like a hidden object game. So I get motivated to do as well. And I put it in the chat as well. I can relate to this if I think about students and employees who have someone at home or in their family who has Alzheimer or like something else. So in that case, in that way, I can relate to the topic as you suggest.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and I like the different kind of exercise you developed, because we saw some virtual reality, and I think it's really a strong experience. But this one, like the second or only at the second point that you were searching for, the second issue that you were searching for, I got frustrated and impatient already. And it's like a video game, but instead of getting a lot of points, you just get more frustrated. So I think it's really, it catches you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. If there are any questions left, then please tell us now, because otherwise we are going to have a little break until 2. And then the next group, the Butter Mermaids, are up for their presentation. So if there are no questions left, then please stand by, and we will see you in 8 minutes after the break.
Yes? Wow.
Hey, Floor. Oh, wacht. Hi.
Hi.
Hey, wat leuk. Even de deur dicht doen. Ik zie dat je er net
We staan
bij
op een
bent.
grote scherm. Zie je dat?
Ja, hallo, groot scherm. Ja. Ja, we gaan zo weer verder.
Hi Floor.
Hoi.
Leuk dat je er even bij bent.
Ja, nog even op het laatst. Hallo.
Hey Bertien.
Ja, leuk.
Ik zit gewoon op de achtergrond, maar ik ben aanwezig. En ik dacht, Floor, moet ik even dag zeggen ook.
Ja.
Hij is terug alweer dat we daar samen zo reden met z'n drieën naar, hoe heet het? De Adriane. Ariane,
Ariane de Ranitz. Ja.
Heel
Kleine
lang geleden.
print.
Ja, precies.
1000 jaar geleden. Er waren nog eens tijden.
Ja, nou.
Nee, leuk. Ja. Oké. It's up to you, Zeynep en Romy.
Yes. So welcome back, right on time. We would like to continue with the lovely Butter Mermaids, if they're ready for their presentation.
Yes, hello everyone. Let me share my screen. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you everyone for coming to our presentation. I want to bring you all to our VR world called Outer World. Outer World gives you the closest immersive experience into cultural shock. You can explore fascinating trials which you will encounter in a state of cultural shock. So cultural shock is a response to getting exposed to a new environment. We are a group of international students, and the shift in our lifestyles and environment made us very interested in this phenomenon. And since we all somehow experience cultural shock, it gave us the idea to try and get this feeling across to other people. And that's why we chose the topic, This is How We Do It. What do we want to achieve? So along with the findings that we consulted with our expert and our target group, we decided to express this phase by immersing the user in an alien-like restaurant, namely Outer World. In this restaurant, you're unfamiliar with the socially accepted behavioral norms related to dining and interaction. And our goal with Outer World is to awaken the emotional state of cultural shock. So insights that we made by doing desk research is that cultural shock is very common among expats and people who have moved far away from home. It can also be developed even when you think you have already settled into a new environment. Another insight that we found out about is that cultural shock consists of 4 phases. And for our challenge, we decided to focus on the second phase, which is called the frustration phase. And also going through these different stages can be different for each person. It can take weeks, months, or years even. So the 3 most important steps that we had in our process, the first one is choosing our topic. We did a lot of brainstorming in the beginning. It was a bit yeah, difficult to choose a topic because there are a lot of topics that we wanted to show to people. So at the end, we had autism and cultural shock, but we chose cultural shock because it's a topic that we all went through and know how it is to go through cultural shock. Our second step was being introduced to co-spaces. At first, we wanted to make our VR world on A-frame, but not all of us had a background of coding, so it was really hard to work on it together. And then our teacher told us that we can use co-spaces, and yeah, this made us gave us the opportunity to work on a VR world with all of us because it's much easier to use. Our third step is testing the prototype and getting feedback. So we tested the prototype with fellow students, but also with the target group, because since we're all international students or are familiar with cultural shock, we also had a lot of people that we knew that went through cultural shock. So we also tested it with those people. And with the feedback that we got, we improved our VR world to the likings of the target group. So this is a little bit of a video of our prototype and how it works. So I'm going to show you the demo. So yeah, the rest you have to find out yourself. So thank you for listening, and do you have any questions?
It's a cliffhanger.
Yes.
I'm now curious. I want to see what's happening. Where is it going? I think so.
Yeah.
I hope that I can see tomorrow briefly again this part.
Yes.
And I thought, if I'm right, you talked with Lucien about the
Yes.
culture shock, and
Yes.
she was very disappointed of her own schedule because she wanted to see all of this.
Yeah.
So tomorrow I will be telling her exciting news about this. Thank you.
Yes.
Well, I wanted to say, as an expat myself, I found really, really funny the picture where you have like the multiple choice and then you have to click a button. Because I'm not joking, like the first times online on a Dutch website feels just like that. You're like, okay, is it a yes? Is it a no? Maybe am I paying something? Like, what is happening?
Yeah, we tried to get that feeling across, like putting text that no one can read to make it confusing.
Very realistic, I would say. All the it really gets the message through.
Is there any other questions that the 2 minutes time we have? If not, we can move on with the noodle spam.
If there's nobody with a question, I can go. You guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Good luck.
Yes, thank you. Give me 1 second. Yeah. All right. Yes. Okay, so welcome to my presentation, guys, about the project I did for the group Noodle Spam. First of all, the topic I chose is the chaotic mind. And I did this for various reasons. Mainly because the subject and the context of what it implies is very interesting to me. I will get back to this later, what I mean by this. But first we will talk about the technology I use for this application. And I also chose this topic because I can relate to this myself. So first of all, the application. The application shows different cubes in an augmented reality. You guys can see a picture here on the right. And you see that it's black in the background. But if you do it on your phone, it actually shows your environment. It streams from your rear camera, like you're filming, and all the cubes move if you move your phone as well. So they're like set in a point in your environment. The purpose of this application is to have the user fulfill a challenge. He or she has to guess the word while there are thoughts racing and there's chaos in the ordering of the cubes. So the application plays many voices interrupting each other, thinking about different things. Did I lock my door, or do I look thick in this dress, or whatever? Like all like everyday thoughts are represented here. Let's go to the technology. So I used A-Frame. I think most of you guys are familiar with it because there was a masterclass about it, but I will shortly explain something about it. A-Frame is built on HTML, and it is a nice and easy way, relatively, to create a virtual reality or augmented reality experience. So what does this project try to achieve? First of all, an experience of chaos. And I have to say here, to the extent that technology can really represent the human mind, that is. I think technology is still too shallow to really give you a true feeling of the depth of a human mind, but it's a nice try and a nice approach. I would like to create some understanding about how chaotic minds may feel like. I think quite some individuals have this, and it would be nice to have people think about this for a moment. And like maybe a chaotic mind can also be that you forget your wallet sometimes, or that you have thoughts going all kinds of places, maybe if you daydream away. And that's also a bit to the next bullet point. Maybe it's nice to open a dialogue about the concept of a chaotic brain. For instance, I picked this subject because the term chaotic brain intrigued me. It was listed as a condition, you know, where all the conditions were picked when we have were listed when we have to pick our subject. And I thought, is that really a condition? Don't we have it all? Do not like many people I've talked to, many people I know have it at least a little. So when do we label someone as having a chaotic mind? So what new insights did I get from this project? Well, first of all, I didn't really get new insights since I was already quite known with the subject. I've thought about it many times. It did, of course, make me think again about it and got a bit of a revival in the topic. But an interesting one to me, what I often think about is, are people with a chaotic mind prone to be more creative or smart? How is it that artistic people, the artistic stereotype, also contains the chaoticness, like the very chaotic workspace they have, and there's also trash everywhere? Are people with a simpler mind less prone to pitfalls and more down to earth? Like, it's what I like to do with this is a sort of a metaphor, like you can maybe see it as a tree. If someone is very like smart or very creative, there's more branches to the tree, so there's more to the tree. But since there's more branches, it also catches more wind and it becomes more vulnerable. So maybe more vulnerable to mental illnesses. And nice examples of this are Vincent van Gogh, Kurt Cobain, who had bipolar disorder, and John Nash. About John Nash, there is a movie. It's called A Beautiful Mind. I don't know if some of you guys have seen this, but he was a mathematician, and he did something about game theory and about how to make choices. I also posted a bit of an article. I wanted to say Wikipedia, but it's not Wikipedia. And it says, according to the standard criteria, there does not seem much doubt that Isaac Newton, Henry Cavendish, and Albert Einstein were Asperger people. In fact, Newton appears to be the earliest known example of a person with any form of autism. I do state the source here. It is NCBI. So if you want to check that out, you can go there. Lastly, I want to say about this, then I will close this off. It is not, of course, the case that if you're chaotic and if you have autism or you have ADHD, that by definition you are smart or by definition you are more creative. I just see a tendency where a lot of smart, creative people, a lot of the greatest artists have some sort of condition. So it's more the other way around. It's not like a guarantee that if you have ADHD that you are some super creative genius or something. So what were the 3 most important steps I took for this project? Well, of course, I talked to the experts. We spoke about their vision on the chaotic mind. And I was wondering here if they were able to define it. What comprises this term? Maybe do they recognize it in their own students or themselves? The second step was creating the application. This was a sort of iterative way. I had to figure out the technical parts. And since I'm quite new to HTML and do not know a lot about A-frame and I'm alone in the group, my group members quit. I had to do everything myself. So the end result might be a bit limited, but that's I had to work with what I had. So the third step is testing the application. I mainly tested it for doability. And there I took some steps like adding voices, reducing the difficulty, etc. So here is the part where I give you guys a short demonstration. So here you see again it's black. On the phone it will work, but because it's on my laptop, you guys cannot see the any camera stream. But you can see there are many cubes here, and if one would move his phone, the cubes would move with it, and you only have to look at the cubes with numbers. The numbers also represent the position it has to be in the word. So the A is on the 3rd place, the C is on the 5th place, and maybe if I refresh it, you guys can hear the sound. All right, let's do this. Let's see. Ooh, I see an E. I see a D. Do I see a D? Well, I definitely saw an X. So what did I think I saw an X? Okay, no I will close this down due to time limitations, but after 30 seconds, a second voice is added. After 30 seconds, again, a third voice is added, and eventually it becomes a very, very chaotic whole. So that was my project in short. Are there any questions?
Well, Mark, what did you do? A lot of work since the last time we have met, and compliments that you took the whole challenge over by yourself, because it's a small group, but with a chaotic mind, it can be busy enough, I think. Yeah, what can I say? I'd like to ask my colleagues, what do you think about this? Perhaps you can close your screen, Mark.
All right, I will.
Really enjoyed your presentation, and my question is, do you...
Your mic is very, very low volume for me.
This is a very cheap headset, so...
Okay.
I can try something different. Wait. You now? Better?
Yeah, it's doable. It's doable.
Okay. I think it was very interesting, and I was very curious. Did you learn something about your own chaotic mind that was helpful for you?
Well, I learned a lot about it in the course of the last few years, but not necessarily in result of this project.
Okay. Thank you. It's very
It's no problem.
impressive.
Thanks for watching.
I would like to compliment you. It's very impressive how you make the watcher feel like being very chaotic in the mind. To me, it's quite recognizable. How do you say that? I recognize it for myself very much, and I imagine that for lecturers, it's very important to know how a chaotic mind can work and how to help students or to support them to make roots in their system. So
Yes.
thank you.
Thanks for the feedback.
Thank you so much, Mark. Pretty impressive for you just being on your own. So credits for that. Credits for not giving up. And I really like the way you ended your presentation with a little, I have questions. Okay, so the Lions, you are up. If you're ready, please share your screen and show us your presentation.
Okay, hello everyone. I will now present the Lions group. Okay. So can you see now the presentation? Can you see now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So our topic today, it will be about cultural diversity and otherness. And I will explain in this presentation why we picked this topic and what were actually the intended experiences that we want our users to feel. Also the processes that we took actually to reach our final results. So starting with why this topic. So basically we are a group of international students ourselves. I myself am half Egyptian, half Dutch, but other students in my group are international. So we had similar experiences, or we can relate to according to this topic. So it is one of the most common problem facing expats, foreigners, or international students. Actually, 3/4 of the world's major conflicts have a cultural dimension in itself. So many unspoken negative experiences regarding this topic. So we want to highlight some of them. The intended experience, so we want to allow the VR user to experience the following feelings: not belonging, exclusiveness, and otherness. So all of the experiences that we will share in this project are actually real life experiences. If it is our own experiences or our friends' experiences. So how we have started this project, so we used mind map to brainstorm and researching and gathering all the ideas regarding this topic. We used A-Frame as a visualizer for our concept at the beginning, but we end up using Unity to implement our VR project. So as you can see here, the mind map with a lot of different ideas. So we have tackled all the aspects of this issue, like the root of the issue, what factors play in it, the potential solution, all of the things that regarding this topic. And finally, we have concluded with 3 different scenes that we are going to implement in our project. So we, at the beginning, as I said, we used A-Frame to visualize our concept, but we thought that A-Frame is not so interactive, to be honest. So we wanted something that is more live and interactive. That's why we used Unity at the end as a tool to develop our experience. So now I will show you the Unity game, or the experience. Can you see the game now, or?
No, we can still see the presentation page that you last showed.
Just 1 second. Yeah, I think now.
Yes, now we can see.
Can you also hear a voice or a sound from the game? Okay, so now, yeah, great. So the first scene is about a first day for an student at international school. I think there's some. Um, So now an international students enter a classroom in Fontes or whatever university, and then he tries to approach students from his classmates.
Hello, my name is Scanners. Where are you guys from?
Hello, I'm Jacob. This is Laurens. And this is Jimmy. We are all from the Netherlands. And you?
I am from Holland. I just moved here to study. How do you guys find the classes? I think they are rather difficult.
I'm doing fine so far. You'll be fine if you go to the practical. Hoe werkt het? Wacht even. Ik laat je zien hoe je dit moet doen. Om x te vinden moet je k vervangen door y. Dan kan je die equation oplossen.
So basically, the purpose of this scene that the international student just approach these Dutch students and try to speak them with English, and after the introduction ends, they start to speak Dutch, and he cannot understand any word of it. And now the second scene is about a student who is receiving emails from his university, and it seems like all the emails are in Dutch, so he cannot also understand what the intentions of the email.
All my emails are in Dutch. I really hope I'll manage to understand what they mean by using an online translator.
So the last scene is about a kid who is a foreigner kid or a kid from expats who don't know the Dutch language very much, but unfortunately he feels or he experienced some discrimination or something like that, that he cannot speak the language perfectly. So that's what he will experience now.
I want to play with them, but I don't speak Dutch very well. Will they accept me? Kan ik met je spelen?
Ga Nederlands leren? Zo dom.
Yeah, so that's basically our VR project. So if you have any questions, please ask.
Impressive, Luke.
Thanks.
Yeah, it makes me feel embarrassed.
Oh, sorry for that.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good thing, because I think that's good that you make people feel embarrassed by not feeling welcome. It's what Linda said in her opening speech, that it's so important to feel welcome, to feel well, and it doesn't in this way in any of your examples. So it's really embarrassing, and because I'm Dutch, I think we should be so much more open, and I think I am. And I hope everyone can experience that, and I think there are places that people are welcoming everyone.
Yeah, sure. I don't want to generalize anything.
No, but it's very
it's
important to get this feeling that you are feeling it too often. So thank you for this impression. I think it's a very important one.
Well, I really liked the first example in which the foreigner introduces himself, and originally also the Dutch people speak in English with him. It's not intention of rudeness towards this person, but it's almost a embedded way of acting that you were like, oh yeah, but now I'm talking again only with a Dutch person and I will talk in Dutch because this other person is not part of the conversation. But the feeling that you have of not being part of the conversation, but also not having the possibility of entering the conversation because fun. It's really interesting. It's really a powerful image, like the one that you decided to show, I think.
Thank you. I'm so happy that you have received the feelings and the impressions from the experience.
Yeah, if I may add, what this experience is also very important because it's very normal. That's the shaming part, maybe, because it's very normal that when a foreigner or maybe someone from another part of the country who doesn't speak a dialect, then people go to interact in their own language, and that is very excluding. But they don't realize, and they do because they find it including with the person who speak to the same language. So that's very confusing about this because you think I'm including the other and excluding the other one at the same time, and that is very sort of that feeling of including the other is more important than excluding the other, and that it should be the other way around. So you should be aware of someone who's not included in the fact of who is included. So I think it's a nice experience because it's a very normal one. It's very common, and that makes us realize it's not so very well. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for your feedback.
I also want to compliment you, but also the other students that you challenged to try new technical aspects, because as you told us and other students did too, it was a very short time when you have to learn about these technical challenges, and compliment to your teachers as well, because how to learn in fact another language to express yourself and find some common ground which we can relate to all together here. So I think that succeeded very well.
Thank you. I would like also to give the credits to Irina and Val. They are not in the meeting now, but they have done the most of the work on Unity. So I just want to give them that credit. Yeah.
It is recorded.
I wanted to add that I feel that we as teachers, we also have a sense of responsibility in the feeling that other students who maybe don't speak the same language that they belong. I noticed that when I am guiding group projects and there are some Dutch people in a project, but also non-Dutch people, I keep on telling them, like, please keep in mind that you talk English all the time and don't switch to Dutch, because you are literally ignoring the fact that someone is over here, also within your group. So I feel as a teacher, we also have a responsibility to keep in mind and remind our other students to keep talking English. So I see the resemble of like the connection to how teachers should be aware of this. I think you've done a really good job. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yes. If there is no other questions, well, we would like to now, well, first of all, thanks to all of our students and all the people that joined this meeting and were able to spare their time to see all the presentations. And yeah, we would like to have like a sort of an open dialogue on if someone would like to reflect on any points that really they felt somewhat related to, or that really struck opinion on their head, or like if anyone would just like to share anything, basically now this is your spot to start the conversation.
Yes, I would like to say something. I'm Shanna and I work for Foundation Stichting Het Vergeten Kind, it's called. And thank you for inviting me today. I really had a lovely time. I really enjoyed the presentations. I'm impressed by all the research that all the students did, really asking the people who know best how it feels and also asking them feedback after the product was already made. So yeah, I really appreciate that. And also, I feel that if you experience it from the role, from the person who his way of being is not always understood, makes me understand much better what should change. And I think I'd like to think more about that. So maybe I would like to have a sort of assignment maybe from after that presentation, like to know how to change it. I'm sorry if my English is not so very good, but I hope you understand what I was trying to say.
Would anyone like to comment on it or no? Well, if not, I would like to. Because I somewhat agree, and also during all of the presentations as well, we're always thinking of, okay, there is this problem or like lack of awareness, what can the teachers do? Or what can the institute do? But I'm also at the same time questioning what can the student or that minority can do to just reach out for a communication. I think it's kind of a two-side road in a way. Maybe the percentage or the amount of lanes is not the same depending on if you're in the majority or minority, no? But I feel like it's interesting also if the students are still here, I hope, that what they think as well, like how do they feel do they feel a responsibility to reach out if they feel related to any of these topics of being international in a school in Netherlands, or also depending on the other topics as well. I'm just curious.
Yeah, maybe I can say something as well. I was in the kind of the blue group where we did the 360 degrees video experience about autism, and I think generally what was good about this project is that it did not only make you aware of how other people see things differently than you do yourself, but also that you with your actions kind of also can influence how easy they have it or not, and also, for example, that the let's say the border between, for example, for our topic like being autistic or not being autistic is not clear. Like there is no like real border where you can say, okay, this person is autistic and this one is not. I would say it's like really blurry, and I think everyone is different and everyone kind of sees things differently, and I think it's difficult to label it. And I think this project really like made me aware of that. Yeah, you don't know like necessarily always like how you're talking to, and you always have to kind of think about how this person could feel about something. So kind of being more aware of being respectful with others and don't kind of, it's difficult to say, but like having like more awareness of how to interact with others and kind of how to yeah, interact with them generally, or kind of talk to others, what you're doing and all your actions kind of count. And yeah, I think that made me aware of that.
It's a good sign, the silence, I think, Felix.
Okay,
You were all listening so closely what you were saying, and I think it's exactly what we want to achieve, that people are going to doubt about some things. Like some groups I talk to, they say patient or it's an illness. And I think we contributed together that we not are going to talk about illnesses or like severe conditions, but about the neurodiversity of people. And I recognize it more and more in the presentations you show us. So thanks, Felix, for stepping up on the question of Zineb, who wants to say something, because it's always the difficult part. Who wants to say something and everyone shuts down their camera.
Well, I wanted to say something. What I really liked about the presentations, it was that the students not only focused on showing what they did and their prototype, but they really took the time of explaining their why and the consequent research. But I was really touched by the whys that they chose, because many of them obviously, I say obviously, I don't know, many of them decided to focus on things that they could relate, but others decided to think outside of the box and touch on topics that many students online came to us and were like, but could we actually talk about this? We're like, you have a wild card, please use it, because we designed the challenge for the students to give information to the teachers. But it is so inspiring that the students find the topics that they want to touch upon, because that's the real objective of the challenge, is for them to open our eyes and not necessarily vice versa. So I really, really liked to hear about the reason why you chose your topics.
Now, again, I think it's very good that also that part was highlighted now. Zeynep and Romy, I understood that everyone gets the PDF of this presentation. I think we can wrap this up for now.
Yes, I am right now trying to drag and drop the file. Just a single minute. Okay.
So for now, I would like to thank all the guests who made time to join us. Some have already left, but some are here in the middle of the screen in the big building. We can see ourselves on the screen over there. It's very confusing. So do I need to? Yes, you made it. You put it in the chat, or?
That's what
We're
I'm
still
trying to.
Oh, you're trying. Or otherwise we will send it by email. We know.
Yes, I will send the recording link as well. But in case I don't manage to put it in the chat at the moment, which I'm...
Not working.
No, I think it's not working. It's not fair if we are also losing or like stealing your time by like, okay, I'm trying to drop it, but it's not working. So thanks a lot, everyone, for joining us today. And if tomorrow you'll be joining, see you tomorrow during the offline show moment as well. Yeah, thanks a lot and have a nice day.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.